Hello, my name is Ilona, and in this video I just want to continue my sequence about shadow work, and it's about making choices from your heart, living from your intuition. And what I mean by that is that you make choices that resonate with you. So in connection with your soul, in connection with God, in connection with the universe. So what is right for you? And it's very important to understand. We, of course, have feelings. We have all kinds of feelings. We have emotions. Usually emotions are like reactions to what's happening, or they can just come up and go very easily, except if we don't, how do you say this, feel them. So pain, anger, frustration, sadness, they can all pile up. So then something comes along in your life, something triggers something, and then you suddenly are like very emotional. You don't understand why. That has to do with shadow work. That has to do with looking at all these feelings, all these old emotions, and really living through them, really opening yourself up to them. And that can take a while, but your intuition, if you start listening to your intuition, it will be like a map that will help you heal and a better understanding of what's going on in your life. And it will ultimately make it easier for you to really trust yourself, trust God, trust life. If you do that, you know you'll always be safe. You know you're loved. You know you're valuable. And that is so important to understand, to truly feel. That's why it's so important to have that connection with your intuition, have that connection with God, with your soul. Doesn't mean that it's going to be easier at the beginning. The intuition is like the shortest route. Doesn't mean that that's going to be a nice route, especially when there are a lot of things in your life that really don't resonate with you, or certain patterns that really aren't good for you. So then it will just start like a cleanup. Everything that's going on in the world right now, they're cleaning up things. We'll have to do that, each one of us, clearing up our shadow, clearing up our emotional baggage. We have to feel through it. We have to embrace it, be conscious of it, not push it away, not avoid. So it's very important to start feeling, because your feelings will get you to your intuition. It's very important to understand that not to analyze everything. We do have a disbalance in our society, at least when I was growing up, and the school system, it's all very rational. So it's all very focused on understanding, learning, reading. There wasn't a lot of room for feelings, emotions, or how to handle them. That pretty much wasn't at all. It was basically focused on the mental part of our how we're living. So the head part. And a lot of people live in their heads for a long time. I tried to live in my head as well, because I couldn't handle my emotions. I would feel a lot of things, but they were just frightening to me, and I would just push it away with food. I would numb myself so I wouldn't have to feel it. I wouldn't have to deal with it, and I would start analyzing everything and trying to gain control in that way. So we have a lot of people that pretty much live in their heads, and they have a lot of problems feeling things. In the extreme case, someone that really just lives in their heads have no idea how they're feeling. They analyze everything. They are very intellectual, yes, intellectual, that's the best word. I would say intelligent, but intelligence, you can be intelligent on a lot of levels: social intelligence, emotional intelligence, intellect intelligence. So I just want to call this the intellectuals, who are completely in their heads. It's very important to start feeling, to start understanding if that's what you're doing. I've been doing it for a very long time. I'm now starting to feel my way through things, so I'm not pushing it away anymore. And I've noticed just in everything that I'm getting stronger, and I connect with my intuition way more. So I will sense right away if something's wrong or not. So you have people that live in their heads. If you say something like, well, how do you feel? They have no idea. They just look at you like, what are you saying? It's like they don't even understand the question. A problem is that if you say like something doesn't feel right to me, then they're like, well, that's not an argument, and they will try to, if they're very manipulative, try to push you in a certain corner with all kinds of intellectual gymnastics. Then on the other end, we have people who are completely in their emotions. They live in their like pain or sadness or maybe anger, and if you say something, maybe something like, well, I don't like that, they can immediately start attacking you. Or they can get in this victim mentality and start crying. They can get very emotional. So in a way, they're both very much out of balance. We have the persons that are in their heads. They are more in the masculine side, but then in the more toxic side of the masculine. Because we have this beautiful holy masculine needs to be balanced with the holy feminine. And of course, we have on the other side the emotional people who are well, not really in control of their emotions. They're all over the place. And that can be, in a way, very dramatic and very interesting, but it can also be very exhausting, not only for them, but for people around them, because you really have no idea where they're going. And they can just out of the blue become very down, or just, it's pretty exhausting to me. I've dealt with some people and they were like all over the place, but these are just very extreme, just to point out how extreme you can be on one side on the other. But in between are all kinds of, you have all these people in between. Some are more in the head, some are more in emotionals, and of course in the middle you have the balanced person who has really balanced this male energy with the female. And if it's balanced, you can really connect with your intuition. That's why it's so important to feel, to see if you're connected with your body, because especially if you're in your head, I've noticed that by myself. If something happens that can still shock me, or something happens that just comes up, I have this tendency of just immediately starting to analyze things. So you have to be aware of what you're doing. What do you do? What is your first reaction? Is it to jump into your head? Try to connect with your body. See where you feel things. Maybe you feel tension, especially if it's very uncomfortable for you or you're not used to feeling things. You can start to just take some time off during the day and maybe lay down or sit down. Just feel what's going on in my body. Where is my breathing? Am I breathing very high? How am I feeling? Is there tension in my neck, or is there tension in my stomach? What am I feeling? That's the first thing to start connecting with yourself and with your feeling, is through your body. It's really connecting with everything that you are. By doing that, especially trying to breathe through your stomach instead of very high up high here, you can really ground yourself. It's very important to ground yourself and be in your body, because then you connect everything. You connect your mental and your heart. And of course, everything, all the energy points, all the chakras in your body, you will connect them all. You align them. And that's the best way to connect with your intuition. What's also very important is if you do feel like this doesn't make sense, or you meet someone and you're like, I've got a bad feeling about this, listen to it. That's very important. That was very important for me. I would feel things, but I would start analyzing it, and then I would just, I have no reason to feel this way because this person is reliable so far. I have no argument to just not continue with this person or not deal with this person. And then ultimately I would always find out that my first impression was correct. So if you feel that, start trusting that. Your intuition is helping you for the best way to become fully conscious. And you really have to trust that connection. You really have to start trusting that intuition, that insight that you feel, because then you can build onto that. You don't have to explain anything, really. Ultimately, you are responsible for yourself, responsible for your actions. You are not responsible for someone else's actions. Of course, if you have children, you are responsible for your children, but you are not responsible for any other grown-up. That is not your responsibility. You're not responsible for their feelings. You're not responsible for, in essence, their well-being. Of course, if you're going to do horrible things, you will have to face the consequences. But if you really are true to yourself and really love yourself, you won't be able to hurt other people, because you understand that everything is connected and we are all one. So it's pretty dumb to hurt someone else, because in essence you are hurting yourself, or hurting God in essence. Of course, that also it does mean that you need to, of course, really love yourself. So if someone else is doing things to you that are not good, that are toxic, you have to stand up for yourself and say no, not comply. Very important as well. But if you truly start loving yourself, start really connecting with yourself, you will be able to listen to your intuition and really follow through. And the more you will follow that intuitive voice inside of you, the easier it will ultimately get. It can get messy at first, like I said. Probably need to clean up things, especially if you haven't listened to your intuition for a while. You probably have to make certain decisions for certain situations. Maybe certain people really don't match with you, and you will have to decide to walk away. That can be very tough, but you have to understand that the most important thing you have is your soul, is your connection to God. Honor it. Honor yourself. There is nothing more important than that, to honor God by loving yourself, by not letting other people hurt you, manipulate you in any way. That is so important, and you need to listen to your intuition. Also be loving yourself, so don't try to hurt other people or manipulate other people as well. It goes both ways. So you truly love yourself, you will start seeing that in around you, people that you will attract, situations that you attract. But the first step is really connecting with your body, with your feelings, with your emotions, so you can connect with your intuition. And your intuition is that deeper knowing, and maybe you already feel it. You just know things. It's possibility. I usually feel it in my lower stomach, like, oh, this doesn't feel right. I now am listening to it. So find your own way. So it's just like you just know. Trust that. If you feel this, you want to back away from someone of a certain situation, do that. You don't have to explain anything. That's very important. So I'd like to leave it at this, and I hope to see you in another video. Bye.